Detroit Broncos. Friday night will open up their season. They are on the road to take on Mesquite Horn. I'm joined by their head coach, Nondistrict. And Coach, welcome back to Sports Talk. Great to have you once again and getting ready for this new season.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's first day of school and kicking off the football season on Friday night. So glad to be back. Appreciate you having me here today.
It all comes quickly for the kids. First day of school, the same week as the first football game. What have you worked on in the off season specifically with your team to prepare them for this season?
Well, from the moment that we lost in the playoffs last year, we took up equipment the next day. We immediately started our strength and conditioning program. The kids did that for the entire remaining part of the school year. Throughout the summer, they've just done a great job of working to prepare themselves physically for the start of this season. Obviously the last couple of weeks we've been on the practice field again and trying to fine-tune ourselves as an offensive and defensive and special teams unit. Had a great scrimmage the other night against Flower Mound on Friday, and so pretty pleased with where we are right now as a team. Now obviously this Friday it starts counting in the win-loss column, so we've got to continue to improve and stay focused, but we're really excited about our opportunity to go down to Mesquite this week and take on a really good Mesquite Horn football team.
Obviously, last year, the centerpiece of your offense was BrianDriscoll and had to be with the amount of talent that he had. Now, without Driscoll, you have to replace him at running back. You have a couple of capable guys of doing that. Dedrick Scrivens is going to be the main guy.
Yeah, Dedrick was our starting slot last year, so he played a whole lot of football for us in the slot position, with Brian being our running back. Dedrick will move and absorb a lot of those carries that Brian got a year ago. We've got a couple other kids that are in the mix. Malik Bozeman is a kid that moved in during the spring semester that plays some running back receiver for us. A kid named Brandon Bowling who came off of our freshman team, who'll be a sophomore this year, who is also a running back / slot receiver kid. Robert Norn, who's been a 2-year starter for us at corner, is coming over and going to play some offense for us as well. So we feel like we've got some talented kids in that slot receiver / running back fit that I think they'll end up splitting a lot of those carries that Brian was receiving over the last couple of years.
Curtis Ladd is returning as your starting quarterback. Very efficient last year, 8 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. He knows how to take care of the ball. Are you going to try and let him open up even more in the passing game this year? He had just a little bit south of 200 pass attempts last season.
Yeah, I think you'll see our offense be a little more balanced than it was a year ago. For the last couple of years, Brian's been a real focal point of who we were. And I'm a big believer in doing what you feel like you need to do in order to be successful on the field. Brian was a big part of that. I think you'll see us open the ball up a little more this year. I think you'll see our run-pass ratio be a lot more balanced than probably what it's been over the last couple of years with Brian in the backfield. I think we showed that Friday night as we took on Flower Mound. We were a lot more balanced in terms of our run-pass ratio. Curtis did a great job throwing the football. Our receiving corps did a great job of making plays through the air. So I was really, really satisfied with where we were.
You really seem to hit up the families when you're looking for your football players here at McKinney Boyd. You had last year Patrick Ladd graduated, and of course Curtis is his brother. You bring up BrianDriscoll's brother this year to the varsity, and then you have the Brown twins on defense.
Yeah, Steven will be starting for us at receiver. James Driscoll, Steven's brother, first brother that came through our program, and then of course Brian graduated last year, so Steven will be the third one that's been in our program. We're happy to have another Driscoll in the fold, and both of our Adam Brown's returning. He was our leading tackler a year ago at inside linebacker. We moved his twin brother into inside linebacker in spring ball. He did a great job, so both of those guys will be starting at inside linebacker for us. So yeah, it's been great to have those family connections over the last several years.
A lot of key players are returning back on defense. You have pretty much, other than safety, most of your spots, you have a lot of experience around them. Talk about some of your top guys that you really are looking forward to having again this year.
Yeah, last year Tyler Ferguson and Kyle Seamus and Ross Matisic all got a ton of snaps in the defensive line for us. Now, one thing we did during the spring was we moved Ross into one of our outside linebacker roles where we graduated a couple of seniors. So those 3 guys return as starters for us. Adam Brown at inside linebacker, Paxton Larson at corner, Robert Noren at corner, So we feel like we've got a great nucleus of returning kids that have played a lot of football for us over the last year. Obviously, safety is one of those areas where we graduated 2 seniors, so we've got 2 fresh faces in there, but really excited about what those 2 kids bring to the table for us. Braden McFadden plays the other outside linebacker spot opposite of Ross. Braden was on our varsity last year, got a little bit of playing time. He wasn't a starter, but he did get some varsity snaps and varsity experience. So, we feel like we've got a great nucleus of kids, and they performed well Friday night in the scrimmage, and we're excited about watching them again this Friday.
You're opening up this Friday against Mesquite Horn, and they're a team that is ranked 12th in the 5A area poll here in the Dallas Metroplex area. And Horn is a team that is going to be a good test for your team. You're going to know where you're at after this game. They returned their quarterback, Destry White, who combined passing and rushing just over 3,000 yards last year. But Horn's going to be a little bit different in their offensive scheme this year.
They will be. They got a new head coach in Mike Overton. So Rodney Webb, who was the coach there a year ago, left and went to Rockwall during the off-season time. Mike Overton, who was the head coach at West Mesquite for the last several years, came over to Mesquite Horn and took over the reins. So, their offensive personality is a little bit different than what it was a year ago when we played Horn, but it still revolves around Destry White and his ability to run and throw the football. So, they've got great skilled kids. They're big up front in the offensive line. Defensively, they run to the ball really well. They're very athletic. But we're excited about the opportunity to go play them again. That's one of the things, last year as I rescheduled in preparation for last year, the Mesquite Horns, the Coppells, the Garlands that are on our schedule early, they're there for a reason, and that's because I know they're great football teams. They're all ranked in the Metroplex top 20. It's about preparing our kids for a high level of play early in the year. And so, my hope is that this year our kids coming into the Horn game understand what that level of play is. A year ago we weren't really used to that at that point in the season. Hopefully this Friday night we'll take the field with kind of a different idea of what it's like to play that quality of an opponent early in the season and perform a little better than we did a year ago.
And that non-district schedule really did good for you last year in preparing you for district. You started to go on that winning streak after dropping the first couple of games, finished second in a tight district with a lot of quality teams. Obviously, Allen went on to win the state championship, and Plano West had a deep playoff run. And some people kind of forget about McKinney-Boyd because you had that tough matchup against Jesuit in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think it was, we all know that we were disappointed that our season ended when it did. We felt like we had a pretty good football team. That's the way it goes. You've got to play well late in the year, and our first round playoff loss to Jesuit, we didn't play as well as I'd hoped we would. Hopefully we move beyond that this year. That's one of our goals, is to move beyond that first round and start to make a name for ourselves. Now, it goes one week at a time. We did finish second place in a very, very competitive district. We played a very tough schedule last year. My hope is that we get started on the winning track this Friday night when we take on Horn.
As a coach, what's the best part of the first game of the season for you?
Well, it's just to return to that excitement, of Friday night. It's been, I guess, 9 months or however long it's been since the season ended, and so, it's returning back to the field. You've got the band, you've got the cheerleaders, you've got the crowd, you've got the energy that goes on with Friday night high school football, and so, the opportunity to get back out on the field and experience that. It's some great moments for kids. It's why kids do what they do. It's why coaches do what we do. It's about that energy and that excitement that's out there on Friday night and making memories for that group of individuals. So we're excited about getting it kicked off again. It's just an exciting time of the year with the start of school and the start of the season.
And Coach, good luck on Friday night and hopefully bringing back the W to McKinney.
No doubt. Thank you.
McKinney-Boyd Broncos opening up against Mesquite Horn at Hamby Stadium Friday night, 7:30 in Mesquite. As we always do, have to give a big shout out to the McKinney ISD head football coaches for coming by on the show today. If you've already forgotten about when the opening games are, here's a quick reminder. The McKinney North Bulldogs face Newman Smith Thursday night, 7 o'clock at Ron Poe Stadium. The McKinney Lions also open up play at Ron Poe with a 7:30 kickoff Friday night. The McKinney-Boyd Broncos have the unfortunate draw of playing their first game on the road, and it's Friday night at 7:30 against Mesquite Horn at Hanby Stadium. Want more football and sports talk? Don't worry, we will chat with the coaches again on next week's show and have highlights from all the Week 0 contests. Until next time, from all of us here on Sports Talk, I'm Tyler Sloan. Enjoy your week.